Happy Thursday. Oh, I'm like almost in the camera. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Anyway, I felt like painting today, so I'm not drawing. I wanted to put a little bit of paint onto this canvas and also test the lavalier and quality. This is one camera. It's a camcorder. Could probably do better lighting um, with like lighting, but I'm not going to, so it's cool. That's how we're gonna roll. So this is an old painting, very old. Um, it was like a drawing probably 12 years ago or something in a sketchbook, and then I think I started painting it a few years back, and I just got side. I'm usually working on like 15 projects at a time, so I don't know what happened. It's a personal project, and it's like so close to the finish line. But I've gotten so much better at painting since then. I feel like for whatever reason, the universe um, just gave me that little hiatus. So I was going to touch this up, kind of fix a few things here and there. Um, so yeah, figured that would be my morning exercise today. So this is acrylic that I'm using on this one. I'll probably start doing some streams that are oil paint. But for now, this is what I'm gonna rock. I'm gonna rock some acrylic at this moment. And again, it's like so weird. They put me as they always put me as gaming. For some reason. But I'll just do chat and interview. Save it. I don't even know. Anyway, again, this is more for me than anybody else. I'm just trying to stick with it and be consistent with my morning art. So I really actually like the flesh color here. I think it doesn't show. I guess it does show up pretty decent on camera. So I'm pretty happy with the flesh color here. I think this is lacking a little bit. So anyway, I'm just gonna mix up some sort of color and do some sort of painting. And I never even really remembered to get my water brushes ready, but it doesn't really matter. This is easy stuff here. I happen to do this a lot. Let me get some brushes. I don't think I need a big brush. I don't have a big brush anyway. A couple finesse type brushes here as well. Let's see what we can get going with this. Finesse brushes to me just means like finer. I do think I want something with a little more coverage. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I learned, if anyone's ever worked at like a call center, you just talk when nothing's happening, so people like know you haven't left the building. So again, that's why I run tests like this. I know what the heck is going on. Oops. Pardon the crashing booms. It's all just a part of it. I found if you get loud and crazy, that makes your art amazing. All right. So I'm just going to start with randomly mixing a few things here. I've got a parchment white. I kind of like using off-white. I like to mix almost all of my colors. I find it's pretty cool. It's harder to duplicate later on though. Like I have no idea what this color palette is that I'm working with here, which is kind of fun. I have a buddy who's like an amazing musician. I play by ear. I'm not necessarily what people would say a classically trained musician is, but he like trained me to get better by playing stuff. And at one point he would tell me what note it was in, so I would know, and I'd kind of have like a bass line. Then at another point he was just like, okay, I'm not telling you anymore, like you have to like figure it out. And I made me good at playing, like figuring out keys by hearing them. This is kind of the same thing. I don't know if I'm gonna match the colors exactly. It's probably doubtful, but I bet I could get pretty close just off of what I do know. I mean, most flesh colors pretty similar, like just depending on the tone you're looking for. I don't know. I never did normal flesh color actually. I used to always, all my characters used to always be like green or blue. That's why I kind of kept the green in the face there to kind of match his shirt slash fish belly, whatever that is. I assure you I know what I'm doing. I just don't always know what I drew. So I don't know. I'm just gonna like mix these colors here. Got some yellow, some light ochre, a red, a magenta, and like an off-white. Like off-white just lends a lot to the character, instead of just a pure white. But we'll see. We'll see if this even becomes a flesh color. Just mix it on up, guys. No Bob Ross. Do not have a cool afro. But I can be calm. Alright, this is kind of a pinkish color. I think that's another thing I kind of learned over time. They used to pour a lot of paint out. And if you like are looking at this, I mean the surface here, even if I repainted all the flesh color, it's not going to take a lot of paint. Accidentally though, I think I got a pretty good highlight here for the fish's gums. Kind of palette knife that on there, which I guess you can't really see. Eventually I'll have a setup where I can like zoom in and stuff. Maybe even like a person can do it for me. So anyhow, let's see. This is going to need a little more brownish tint. It's too pink. Doesn't make sense unless you're painting a salmon. Maybe I have a burned, an actual darker brown, a burnt umber, something like that. Maybe flesh this out a little bit easier. I'll let you hear the sound of me rummaging through my paint, because that is what everybody everywhere wishes they had. Yellow ochre. This would work actually really well, I bet. Get some yellow ochre in there. I mean, he is, I don't know, it's a very good in between of like brown and pink. Fellow's skin. The OG painting portion of it, as it were. So I'm gonna get this mixed a little bit more and then get into this, get some painting down. An olive green would be pretty dope too. I feel like an olive green would work really well to maybe help this out a little bit. It's still a little bit pink. You really can underestimate how tiny of an amount of red can really go a long way. So when you're in the paint store, it's just a paint store, it's not an art store. But when you're looking at it and you're going, man, this red is like so expensive, it's because it is, for one, a tough pigment to craft, and it will take over even very, very little amounts. So let's see what we got going on here. Kind of a chaotic painter. Can't help myself. But I want to get more methodical. It would be fun. All right, so this is going to be a little bit darker, but it's going to help me finalize this painting because I can just kind of keep playing with this color, adding and changing it, because there's just some detail is missing on this that I feel like would make it go a long way. So completing the painting, as it were. You have to talk like that. You just do. It's just the rule. So the light is coming from here. So if I was to add a little bit of this color to his hand to make it even out, I definitely want to make this more of a shadow tone, what I'm putting on here now. But it needs something else. It's a little bit, I mean, like for the hand at least, it's a little bit too dark. Give a good accent to it, but I'm not really trying to too much of this brown. To be honest, this almost could work in this bone section. I'm gonna just use it to fill out what I need anyway. Because one thing's for certain, you never have too many layers of paint. It's impossible. It's only gonna look better and better the more layers you throw down. I used to fight with my art teacher about that. I thought she was full of it, but turns out she was kind of right. I hope she's out there somewhere. She is, for some reason, found and likes YouTube and found this very obscure channel. I don't think she'd be on TikTok, but you never know, do ya? So again, this is just a exercise I like to do. I'm trying to hold myself accountable to sticking on track with the time as well. Being consistent, but I just have to set up all of the different things that I'm doing: gouache, drawing, digital, this. It's all a different setup in the streaming platform. So that was kind of why I just wanted to get that out of the way and figure out how each one works. So I've been somewhat consistent, but not as consistent as I would like to be, because we all know everybody wants to watch a stranger paint and talk about wild, wild stuff. I'm so wild. The other day I ate like chicken fried steak. It was crazy. It'd probably be illegal, but it's not yet. So let's go. I want to try this thing. I got this recently. I don't even know how it works yet. I mean, like, I understand how it works, but it's for detail. like a hand rest. Everyone who actually has painted for years, I mean, I have, I'm just not, I don't know if I'd call myself, I don't know what I'd call myself, alien. No, but this thing here, you put here to steady your arm for detail, which is actually pretty helpful. I always just kind of scoffed at anything that was like a helpful tool. Don't ask me why. It doesn't make sense. Huh, that works like a dandy. I quite like it. I'm just kind of dry brushing over. I'll make like a nice blend of the new and the old color, matching it. I'm kind of a fan of this thing. This is something I want to do a little bit independently of what I was just doing, but I like to add a little bit of red tint to his nose because I don't know why, but we all have a little bit of red in our nose. Everyone, no matter what. No, I'm just kidding, but does lend like a weird, fun effect to have just a little hint of pink in the nose. But I guess I did not. Oh, there we go. Ever so slightly. I want to drag a little bit of it down to here to his hand. It just adds to the detail. And it also, your eye is going to move around when you're looking at that. So that is another reason. I'm going to get some water really quick. That's what this noise is about to be. Don't be scared. And now I have water, which is also a tool I never really, I mean, people told me over and over to like utilize water when painting acrylics. And I was like, you guys are crazy. I mean, I think I painted for like 5 years before I even went and bought a somewhat pricey tube of paint, which is crazy because you will have some serious doubts about your artistic ability if you use cheap paint. It's like not your fault. If that pigment doesn't cover, you're going to be in for like a pretty frustrating ride. If you don't know what you're doing. If you understand pigment and stuff and you don't mind doing like 4 coats or whatever, like it's not going to bother you, but get some shadow in the fish's mouth. Should have made it one of those like crazy fun underwater glowy fish. That's what they're called. I think that's the scientific name. Underwater fun glowy fish. A little bit of red in his ear. I have big ears that stick out, as you've probably already seen. Maybe not. I haven't leaned in enough, but yeah, when light comes through them, they're like red. It's kind of funny. So I'm gonna give myself a shout out there with that. Put that little bit of pink in there. So that's something I also wanted to do. Let me get an even finer brush. This guy is pretty nice. Let's see. I wanted to just add a little bit of pink in the eye. And I kind of want to change this eye. Like this eye it was probably super cool to me when I drew it. It looks like weird to me now. So anyway, that had nothing to, that didn't work. What I just tried to do. But what I was coming here to do was, and I guess I should use my magic stick, right? Like, why wouldn't I? I just want to get a little bit of detail in here. Forgive me, I'm blind. I'm like, let me just block what I'm doing so you can't see it. Even just this little itty bitty amount of pink here might look kind of cool. Like, because I don't want him to look stone. It wasn't like the point. He kind of looks that way at this moment, but I wanted him to look more like apathetic, or maybe even just relaxed. Not completely ripped out of his mind, kind of appears to be. But let me wash this brush out. And I don't care what your stance is on Bob Ross, you always gotta beat the devil out of your brush. No, I don't actually have the space or the ability to just throw paint everywhere, or I would definitely do that. Not even playing, man. So I want to get his eyes a little bit of a highlight here. This is easy because I shouldn't say it's easy, but this is easy for me because I've been looking at this painting for a very long time, and so I know I'm just doing like touch-ups and whatever, so it's maybe kind of I shouldn't say boring, but I know what I'm doing here, and I know that it's kind of just chaotic, like jumping around. This isn't really like super instructional, but I can give you tips as I go along because I learned a lot along the way that I feel like some artists are gatekeepers. They won't tell you certain things, which I think is really weird. Like I went to an oil painting class this summer, and I oil painted my first oil painting in 1996 probably. Yeah, I'm old. But I went to an oil painting class this summer because I was like, I know how to paint my way. Like, what would some oil painting champion tell me? And it sucked. It turned out I only was able to make it to one class. Like, it's just the way the fate landed. But the funny thing is, in that one class, I like learned what I wanted to learn. Literally everything about just techniques, just how a lot of people utilize oil paint and stuff. And so then, because I felt bad for missing it myself, for like spending the money to get the class and like not doing the rest of it, I made sure to practice the things that I knew that were coming, like landscapes, portraits, and stuff like that. And then I ended up selling enough to cover the price of the class, so I didn't feel that bad afterwards anyway. And it wasn't like I wasted money, and I learned some stuff. And honestly, even if it was just that one class, it would have been worth it, because I learned oil techniques that I would have not known. Oil painting is very different in some ways. It's almost like like what I learned was pretty rad because it was more like straightforward. You just paint, like you don't even draw anything. So that's pretty fun for me because I'm more of an illustrator. I like to draw my stuff first. But learning that, there's many years of that to come for sure. Because this is just one of the most peaceful and like cathartic things you can do is paint. I do not care your skill level. I think everybody should do it. It is like the best stress relief. Alright, I want to also now fill in my weird cartoon clouds you could probably barely see because this camcorder is cool. I got like a thing for a DSLR. I need to set up. I'm hoping that's like really good, because that would stink if it wasn't. All right, this brush is too wet. Turns out, when you just wet a brush, it stays wet. Imagine. So I wanted this to kind of look like he's leaning up against a wall. And this is like the wall, and like the ocean's the carpet. But I don't think I'm going to stick with that, because I've since learned to paint waves and stuff. Sometimes I'll shelf something because I start it, I have an idea, it's cool, and then I'm like scared I'm going to ruin it, which is very strange because you can't. You can't. Like, there's a few things here and there that I've painted that I'm like, this is so perfect. If I ever have to redo that, I can't. So yeah, it's more of like a laziness thing. It's fine. I mean, I'm calling myself lazy. It is what it is. But it is kind of a laziness thing. I'm like, oh no, like what it boils down to is I don't want to try to repaint something. But I'm telling you, if you have to repaint something, that is just an opportunity to make it even better. Because you've already done it once, dope. So whatever. If you accidentally like went over something, fix it. It's easy. And then like, why wouldn't you want to learn that anyway? Unless you were like literally you have one canvas, like one shot. It'd be like the weirdest Hunger Games ever. You can kind of do this artwork, or forever be banished, or go to some weird death island. So yeah, I don't know. That helped me personally. I mean, I've been drawing for a very long time. It took me so long to reach that point. I feel like it was like a Zen, like spiritual moment to just realize, like, wait, you're an artist. It's cool. If something's messed up, fix it. And if it's not, oh well, guess what? You've got 500,000 more artworks left in the tank. So keep rocking it, dude. That's what my subconscious is like a surfer from the 80s. Talks like a Ninja Turtle. Hey, dude, don't worry about this, bro. Just eat some pizza. You're gonna be fine. Could be all the hallucinogens that are in all the cereal I bought from the natural food place, but we'll never know, will we? And let's see here. Got ourselves a nice, bright, loud ass cloud. I don't know, because like I said, I wanted to leave it almost like chalk drawings, but I just don't think that was really being conveyed. So there you have it. There's a couple of clouds. Sorry, a little bit is off the screen. The other thing too, I already know, is I need to put black behind here. If you look at any painting show that's like worth its weight in production value, background's white, and there's a reason for that. It like keeps the camera from going bananas and trying to focus on other colors. Like that camera is freaking out trying to register all of that junk in the background. Call my own art wall junk, it's fine. So this here, I'm just covering this up. Don't know exactly how I'm going to redraw that eye, but I just know I'm like the biggest fan of it. And now I have like a lot of flesh colored paint left over, but I also have a flesh-colored man on my wall. I need some paint. So perhaps I'll rock into that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really understand what this drawing is, so, or what the drawing in the sketchbook was that became this is. It just looked cool. There's no meaning. It's just absolutely fine. He's already looking more fleshed out. Might give him a little bit of shadow using like a crimson. A little bit of shadow on the ear there. The crimson's a little too loud too. Let me get some blue up in this mix. Whoops. Actually, how dark is this? Let's see what's up with this. Olive green, actually. Olive green is very present, especially in lighter flesh tone, in my opinion. Now, it's very subtle, but I also like to use really loud, bold ideas too. Like it's okay if it's a little bit much to me. I think that's really fun. Obviously this guy's face is like partially green, but I don't know why I tried to mix it with a brush. It's like that's a wild way of mixing paint. But this could just work for some shadow. Let's find out, shall we? I mean, even if it doesn't, it will. Because however it dries, it's just going to lend like another tone. It's going to look cool. Just a little bit of olive green. Works really well on the arm for sure. The arm bone, for whatever reason, that's a thing. Now, just because I have paint, a bit of extra paint, I should probably address this arm and at least fill it out. My head just in the way. Hi. So now if I just add some yellow to this, I can probably get that arm filled in too. I think that will kind of match. And this is just one that like I said, I'm just throwing paint down. Like this, the outcome of this is not for anybody. It doesn't matter. Like if I have to come back to this again, like do some stuff to it, cool, no worries. It's kind of fun actually to just have such low stakes on something, because after I sign off, I am going to do some high stakes work. It's not even high stakes, it's just there's more expectations. It's for someone who paid me money, so you have to realize that. and just like, and it doesn't matter because people paid you because they like your stuff, right? Like they want your stuff, so there's not a whole lot of pressure there either. It's just sometimes their ideas might be something you might not regularly do. And that can make it kind of tough. For a second, I mean, until you realize, like, I guess what it is sometimes people give you references and like, yeah, I really like what this company did with this or whatever. And you're like, okay, cool. So then I get in my head about it. And my first like 2 or 3 sketches will be some other art. I mean, like, it's not even me. Like, I don't know what artist I was like emulating or why. I think in my head I'm like, I don't know if it's like professional, it has to be this way. And I'm like, wait, though, they like asked for your art. Like, there's literally a reason they came to you. And that is, they want your art, dude. Do it in your style. Or perish in flames. So I think people get way too in their own head about art. And I get it especially when you're starting out. And it is special. You have a talent or a gift, but you spend a lot of time on it. And like, you know, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying like your art is worthless. You should just not care if you mess something up. But I'm just saying it's part of the process. If you are going to be a good artist, like, there's going to be some failure. Unless you're just perfect. Kim Jong-gi might have just woke up perfect. I don't know. But it sounds like all he did was draw every day, all day. To me, that sounds like talent, but a lot of hours of practice, too. So I'm just putting highlights in this arm bone. I should just say values, highlights, and shadow. Mostly I'm just trying to cover the blue from when I took my own advice and went crazy on the ocean and got the paint all up in this fine gentleman's steez. That doesn't even make sense. So I'll definitely want to shade that. Don't really like that very much. I was gonna try magenta there, but it kind of looked like shit. Excuse my language. This brush has gotten very saturated with paint, which again sometimes can be like amazing and other times not. I give it just like the slightest white highlights every once in a while. The eyes of that fish are just like buttons. It's kind of fun. Yeah, this is pretty fun. It's pretty weird. I can dig it. So now that I have the flesh tone, that's probably a little bit dry. I'll probably fix that eye now and see if get it to look the way I want it. Want it more open. Just like I said, he just looked like he was. But I'm fine if he looks like he's taking a nap. It kind of looks like that, like after like a huge meal, you know, you're holding your belly, going, oh man. You're like your weird uncle has to like take his belt off or whatever. Um, I'm like, damn, dude, like how tight is your belt? Like, why? Why don't you wear comfortable clothes, dude? Oh, uncles, tell you what. And I will still be like using the paint marker. I don't know if I'm gonna use paint marker. Well, I should. I already did. I was just gonna say I'm gonna use paint marker to like, you know, detail that out and make it look cool. His eyeball needs a highlight. That just always has. Gotta just have the pupil. I should say. So now I just with this. Well, maybe I need a little darker. A little bit of a shadow there. Just attaching that now, because then when I do get into the green, the next time I paint this one, get the green back in there, kind of fix it up. Noticing this ear needs a little bit of detail. That like olive green went a little crazy. But again, like I say, it's going to add character. I mean, most of it's going to be covered with black paint, but it will add to it no matter what, because your eye just notices these different values and stuff, and usually quite enjoys it if done correctly. If it looks like shit, your eye will notice like right away. Gotta get a little bit of blue in here. I'm noticing that I went the wrong direction. The blue would have been better than the olive green, at least on his head there. Like the olive green looked great. But just the slightest hint of blue, because you do have lots of blue in your skin hue for sure, because of the veins on your surface. Or like right under the surface, I should say. You have veins on those veins just right there, bro, that you're harboring. Those are the ones you gotta be wary of. Alright, I think this will look better. More of a blue skin tone-ish color. It will blend in way better and look way cooler. The green is fine. The green, it would have just, I don't know. Would have needed to be like at the start, I guess. Like kind of more uniform throughout the whole painting. Might have been the best way to go about it. Now I've got this blue. Kind of go back into this hand. Alright, I've literally matched a color now. It took that much chaos. What finally happened? I did not match that. Matches there. So I mean that totally makes sense though. I made a flesh color and then I just added blue at whatever junction this was painted the first go round. So that's another thing too. Sometimes if you're a little bit sloppy, like you're beginning and stuff, I recommend, if you are like me and I'm an illustrator, I love these Montana Gold paint markers, like going over and outlining everything. It's like kind of my natural state is to have lines on everything. However, I have been painting a lot without them lately, which is also pretty cool. It all just depends. It all lends different effects and moods and stuff. So totally up to whatever you want to do when you're painting your stuff. It's just some stuff I know or pretend to know. This, I do like the flesh color on this, even though it's just basically a challenge, because I think this is one of the first ones I ever did where I was like, I'm gonna do like the regular skin tone, or like try to do like flesh color, because like I said, I usually do blue people and stuff, or I did. Done a lot more normal flesh tones and stuff. I don't know, the last 5-10 years, just because it was a challenge. It's like a lot of things that I've done, like drawing flowers, and, stuff like that, mountain ranges, all sorts of stuff that I just like had no interest in it. But again, like, how will you ever get good if you avoid everything you don't want to draw? Like, you won't, is the answer. Interesting enough for now. Now, here's the thing that I do. I have extra paint here. So, paint's expensive. I don't want to waste that. And I already have a different painting requiring a few more layers of flesh color. So, I'm not going to waste my paint, man. I'm just going to move right into this one. Which, for whatever reason, the colors look completely blued out. Why? It doesn't even make sense. I'm just gonna put it on his face, so I might as well just bring it closer anyway. It'd be so nice to be rich and have a cameraman, a footage person, or whatever. A footage person, that's a real thing. But just someone who could like help out. It's funny too, because the gal does a podcast, so, and neither of us, like, I don't know, we should just take turns being the sound man / editor, but then we all have to learn that too. Already like quite a bit of stuff going on, man. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of shadow there. This painting, this painting is very textured, very thick with paint. Like the clouds like come off of the canvas. I didn't really have any theme with this when I first made it, but I started looking at this again, was also like a drawing. I think it was one of my digital late night, like Patreon ones, and like it just looked kind of cool, so I was like, I'm gonna just paint this dude. cover up. It's a cover up of an old painting I didn't really like so much. But then I was like, man, that's hilarious. This is actually kind of good representation of me growing up with allergies and like how much I hated the outdoors because this dude does not look comfortable. I say this dude, I don't know what he is. I don't know. You know if this has any sort. Just leave it at that. But anyway, it reminded me of growing up with allergies, like going on like my parents made me do Cub Scouts. So there was a lot of trips, obviously. Cub Scouts, a lot of camping trips and stuff. So I like always dreaded the outdoors. But I always actually had fun, and I always did okay. Didn't even really matter that much. Now you know the story of me. No, but that's what this kind of represents to me. I think it's kind of fun. So there. Now you have to too, because I said so. Okay, so this paint is starting to get a little bit cranky. It's drying up a little bit, but not before I'm gonna get this cat filled in, man. That way I'm not wasting paint and I got more done on this. All I really need to do after this on him is his shirt, which I don't really know what the patterning is going to be, but I'm gonna make it fun and possibly funny. Pretty wild. Some of my fun painting. I've made some pretty fun paintings from this kind of like rule I have with myself of not wasting paint. Some pretty cool artwork has come of it for sure. You will accidentally just come up with some wild stuff sometimes. I don't know. I did like a Batman and a Darkseid that were both seriously just accidents, and they're like two of my favorite paintings ever. I did sell one. I kept the Batman though for now. I think I'm gonna trade it to my homie though to master some of my music, but not totally sure how that's gonna go. I mean, I know he wants it. I just don't know if I want to get rid of it. See, it's like weird. It's out of sheer luck. Like I have matched this color. I've matched this paint. And I just kind of like the sloppiness of this one. This one's like so different than the one I was just doing, obviously. This one will not have clean lines because it would kind of ruin the point. Because that it's supposed to look like this, man. I think the first go of this actually probably was extra paint as well. If you never waste extra paint, you'll always get Tooth Fairy pillows. I don't know what I'm saying. But basically now I just want to make sure this is all covered up. I can see some canvas through here, which is not always good. It's not always bad either, but hoping for something a little darker to just kind of give this a little more shadow. I guess I'm not gonna get it. Which again, in all honesty, like if you are about to be painting, this is not always the best way to do things. It is helpful to have a palette picked out, know your color theory. If you have a plot or a plan in mind, you can map it all out for sure, like no problem. And it's way smarter than doing what I'm doing right here. This is just, I have been doing this for a very long time, and it was just kind of like what I wanted to do. It's how I paint a lot of the time now, because I do find that for me personally, I enjoy the chaos sometimes. Like, I think it can lend to it, but it's also like really rad to do methodical stuff too, where you've thought it out and you go in and you execute, and it looks like amazing after. Because I don't know, color theory too. I've been doing this for so many years. I just kind of know color theory, almost without even thinking about it. But color theory is like everything. I danced around it, tried to ignore it. Thought all my teachers, my instructors were like goofballs, but nah, if you know your color theory, you can make anything look kind of cool. I should say you can make most things look super cool. I like the little splotches in here too. I think it's fun. Yeah, it's a little character as well. But yeah, that's pretty much a good start to the day. I'm gonna get started on planning some of this other art stuff I got going on. But if I have some time, I might stream later again too. I just feel like if I'm painting stuff, I might as well just get in the habit of streaming it anyway, because then it like makes me stick to a schedule, and then who knows, maybe one day I could be a painting instructor or something. I just think it's fun to show people. A lot of people like my art, but most people don't even know it exists. So, like, maybe I can change that. Maybe I can't. Doesn't really matter, because I have a blast doing it. That's the whole point. And this way I haven't wasted any paint. All is good, all is well. And I will check y'all tomorrow. I'll probably just draw tomorrow and actually be on time. Have a great Thursday.